What's up, everybody? It's Tessa, and I'm coming to you live today with the podcast all about how to officiate a damn good wedding ceremony. And I started officiating weddings back in 2018. And since then, I've officiated over 200 weddings. So I feel uniquely qualified on how to teach you to do a really, really good wedding ceremony. And it's not that complicated. I promise. It's not that intimidating. I swear. But when you have these few things dialed in, you will blow the couple out of the water and you will blow every single guest out of the water. More importantly, be remembered as a really valuable part of that wedding day and someone who made it really meaningful for that couple because the wedding day itself is so special. It's something that any person remembers for the rest of their life, especially the bride and groom. And I just want to give my 2 cents on why people are often looking forward to, especially the bride and groom are looking forward to the party and the reception more than they are the ceremony itself. And that's because oftentimes we don't think that the ceremony can be as amazing as it can be. People have really low expectations for ceremony and ritual. And it's because it's not a part of our culture very much to celebrate the actual moment and the act itself. And instead, we celebrate the aftermath of it or the ecstasy or the exuberance of it. When I would argue that the portal crossing, the threshold passing moment of actually becoming husband and wife is extremely meaningful and very important to you feeling like you actually changed in that moment, that two really became one. I'm more than passionate about this. I'm beyond passionate about it. And I really believe that every single bride and groom, or bride and bride, or groom and groom should be celebrated for the love that they have had and the love and the commitment that they're making to one another forever. I could cry just thinking about it. It's really one of life's most special things. And to be able to officiate someone's wedding is a privilege, an absolute privilege that one should treat with reverence and respect and due diligence. So I have a few tips for you that you can share with your own officiant or your family or friend that's going to be doing your wedding. And I want to do all of this. I want to do this as a podcast now because we all know it's rising in popularity to have a friend or a family member officiate a wedding. And most people have never done that before. And it's so much more than doing a speech. It's a lot more responsibility and pressure because there's a ceremonial aspect. So I really want to articulate a few key pieces to you guys so that if you're asking a friend or family member to do your wedding, you know what to ask them for. And you also can be at ease with what you're doing if you are officiating a wedding. First things first, the most important thing that you nail at the wedding ceremony is going to come in your interview of the couple beforehand. And there are lots of logistical questions that you'll want to cover in that initial interview. And I'm happy to talk more about that if you want to send me a message or a DM on Instagram, but I'm not going to go into that today because it's a little too technical. And what I want to transcribe to you today is the essence of the ceremony, which is most important. And the first thing that I want you to get out of that interview with that couple is, what do you want to be seen for as a couple? And this is really important because what you are representing up there at the ceremony is what the two of them are together. And it's helpful to know what they are not when they're not together and what they weren't before they found each other. Because that, like the combined or the multiplicity of their essence when they're together is what they're getting married for. It's because they're better together, stronger together. And what you want to tease out those exact phrases or words or core parts of why they are stronger together and weave that into your ceremony. This will get really emotional often for the bride and groom or the couple because they will have a moment to think about, wow, beyond all of the details that I'm planning and coordinating and all the stuff I'm worried about or nervous about or how I want to look, etc. It brings them back into the most important thing, which is, what are they there for? They're there for each other. And that's what you want to weave into your ceremony. The second thing you want to weave in is, what energy does the couple want to evoke in their guests during the wedding? Every couple will have a different thing to say here. For example, one couple might be very lighthearted and silly and fun, and they might be the life of the party. And they want their ceremony to be um, a memorable, joyous occasion or feel like a big adventure. And another couple might be very introverted and sweet and tender and nervous about the whole shebang. And so when you think about how they want their guests to feel and you ask what energy you want to invoke in them, you'll get a feel for the tone that the whole ceremony needs to have. And that'll inform how many jokes you use or not, or how deep you can go, how real, raw, and vulnerable you can be, or how okay the couple is, which is totally fine, which is kind of being on the surface, kind of getting in and getting out. I really recommend nailing down probably 3 or 4 adjectives that the couple cares about most. When you have those 4, you can put your script up against that and make sure that the tone matches. Now, the third thing that you really want to nail in a wedding ceremony is your own presence and your own confidence. And this goes for the couple and it goes for the officiant. The officiant or the celebrant is the centripetal force up at the altar who is making sure that everything is going to plan. Now, most officiants, whether you know this or not, are also in cahoots with both the photographer and the wedding planner. And so you have to be aware of a lot of cues and timings. And that's what you want to get out in the interview as well. Like understand the logistics of the flow of the day or the hour and what's expected of you so that you can be super, super grounded up there and hold down the fort. Because no one's going to hear from the planner and no one's going to hear from the photographer. You are the ringleader at that moment. And the more sure you are of those logistics in that outline, the more calm and at ease the couple is going to be up there as well. Now, you want to have a very grounded, calm energy. And it is similar to that of giving a speech, but it's with a lot, like a sprinkle more reverence. And you want to be speaking slowly. You're not really performing like you would in a wedding speech. Rather, you are holding space for the couple and you're speaking about the two of them and you're ushering them step by step by step through the ceremony and you're holding some of those rituals for them. And I really recommend that you practice your ceremony, you record yourself giving your ceremony, and you practice feeling really comfortable internally in whatever it takes for you to get to that really deep, calm place. I want you to prioritize the day of and in all of your practices leading up to the ceremony. If you're like me and you end up officiating a lot of weddings, the ceremony itself is a no-brainer. Like I have no nerves, no stress, no anxiety about it. I feel right at home up there. And I didn't always, but I also got my start officiating really small elopements. And it's a little bit different than the bigger ones. But I remember my first couple big ones, I was a lot more nervous because there was more people in the crowd. But I want to remind you that while you're up there, even when you're speaking into the microphone, like I am right now, you're really speaking more intimately to the bride and groom in front of you. And it's echoing out to all of the guests, but think of yourself as speaking to them. Now, this brings me to another point. You want to remind the bride and groom with the microphone off, so you're just speaking directly to them as soon as they get up there, that they can take a deep breath, that they can settle in, that you're there, you're going to guide them through with all the right cues, and they don't have to worry about anything while they're up there. And you're also going to remind them not to look at you while you speak, but to hold hands and look at one another. The couple often comes up and they're a little nervous and full of energy when they arrive at the altar. And this little note helps them feel like, wow, okay, it's really just the two of us up here. It's the two of us and it's our dear friend, or it's this professional officiant, and we're good to go. We're taken care of. And they can just let those butterflies settle. When I first started officiating weddings, I wasn't nearly as spiritual, for lack of a better word, as I am now. I wasn't as steeped and well taught and well versed in meditation and grounding and mindfulness and arrival and attuned to the feelings of the people around me as I am now. And now, whenever I do a wedding ceremony, I take a few moments to lead either the bride and groom or the entire group everyone who's present into a little baby breath and meditation moment. Now, this is huge because it allows the couple to take in all of their guests, to really look at their surroundings for a moment, and to settle their heart rate as much as they can. Because, reminder, they're really nervous about their vows. And I'm going to speak about vows in a moment because it's really important too. But you want to hold it down, and you want to be grounded and calm and collected as possible so that you can transmute that to the couple as well when they're up there, and reduce any butterflies that they're feeling. And they might still feel them, and that's totally normal too. Other thing I wanted to mention is vows. Oftentimes couples are really nervous about writing their own vows. And I want to encourage anyone listening to this who's not married or who officiates weddings or is about to be married on any side of that spectrum to really go all out with your vows. Don't trim them down. Don't leave out any details, because the whole weekend, typically in a traditional wedding or a more normal wedding, there are a lot of speeches about the two of you from other people's perspectives. But the thing that everyone wants to hear the most, more than anything else, is your two words about each other. And so don't play it small there. Even if it's out of your comfort zone, I really encourage you to play full out and to bare your heart and soul in front of the person you're going to be with forever. Because that moment, it is so big for your soul. And I believe that with all parts of me. If you're nervous about being on the same page as your spouse to be about how long your vows are going to be or the kind of content, have your officiant read them. Send your vows to your officiant, and they can take a look at them and make sure that you guys are around the same time or going as deep as the other person is. Now, what I often see, I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 weddings that I've done, when partner A does their vows, partner B will almost always say, "Oh God, I should have written more," or "Yours are way better than mine," or "Oh gosh, and you'll hear their self-doubt play out immediately. And if you feel like you might be that kind of person, or you might be working with that kind of couple, I really encourage you to get ahead of that and make sure that you're feeling really confident about your vows. And you're also thinking about what your partner would say up there. Because if you have a really poetic partner, then you might want to step up your game for your vows too. And just so you know, beyond all of that chatter, that saboteur voice in your head about your vows are going to be amazing. Why? Because you've never done anything like this, and you will rise to the occasion. And so don't let any voice of "they're better than me than writing," or "I'm not as good at them at X, Y, and Z" get in your way of bearing your heart, because the most important thing is that you bear your heart and soul. And not a single person in that room will probably have a dry eye, nor will they care that he or she's was longer or shorter. No one's caring about that. And if you are worried about it, get ahead of it and share them with your officiant. The other thing that I like to do as an officiant that I really encourage all of my couples, or I let them know that I'm going to be doing this, is I really like the traditional vows after you've said your own to one another. And that's kind of, you can imagine you're giving each other a little speech about your love. And then I like to ground us back down into the traditional vows, which are repeat after me. So I would say, "Okay, groom, you're going to go first. Do you, Jacob, take thee, Tessa, to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold in sickness and in health, on and on and on, till death do us part." And those traditional vows with the repeat after me really ground the whole ceremony in a very traditional throughout time way that most of your guests are going to be familiar with, and that tethers all of the weddings they've ever been to and all of the couples they've ever seen get married come together under. Are going to do those vows as the officiant. I'm going to put an asterisk on the mechanics of doing that, which is I want you to hand the microphone over to the couple as you're doing that and not go back and forth. So say, repeat after me. I, Jacob, take thee, Tessa, to be my lawfully wedded wife. And so I'm going to hold the microphone away from myself because the entire group doesn't need to hear it called and repeated both times. And they're just going to hear it coming through the speakers as one voice. So as the groom saying all of those phrases repeatedly from start to finish instead of this awkward back and forth. Okay. Little things that make a ceremony really good are things like that. If it feels awkward to you up there while you're doing it and you're doing a lot of work, just stop that. I love to hold the couple's written vows or hold their phones or hold whatever form that they have those vows written on. I like to hold them and I like to have them with me. I use Google Docs. I have it downloaded offline on my iPad, and that's what I bring up there with me. And I have a little case that I can tuck their vows in, and then I hand their vow books to them. And then I take them back after they do their vows as well. Little things like that make it so much more easy. And that way you're not passing on additional accessories to a maid of honor or a groomsman who don't really have much room to hold things, whereas we have an iPad or a book or, a notebook that we can tuck things into. The last thing I want to impart with you is a general outline that I really like to use and share with the couple after I've gotten all of their information, just to let them know what we're going to be doing when. And that way they know what to expect. But I never like to share the full ceremony with the couple. I don't like to pre-write it for them. I like to write it on my own time. And after I've interviewed them, share with them the outline that I have in mind. That way they can be fully present in receiving the ceremony themselves as well. So here's a general outline for you. We're going to have the procession, which is when everyone's going to come down the aisle. That might just be one person. It could be many people, many, many, many. There might be a parent giving away somebody at the front of the altar as well, in which case you'd want to know what the expectations are there so you can own that fully. For example, do you give permission for this man to marry your daughter? Some families really care about that, others don't, and they're just walking their child up there. But you'll want to know what's important to you about that. What's important to that couple about that, I should say, rather. And so once the procession is done, I like to have a quick little moment with the couple without the microphone on where I'm saying, oh my gosh, how are you guys? How you doing? Welcome to your wedding ceremony. You guys ready to get married? You ready to do this thing? And then I'll say out to the crowd, okay, you guys ready to watch these two get married? And then everyone will cheer or whoop. And that's a really sweet moment because everyone goes, oh, yeah. Then I say, oh, I love the sound of that celebration already in the crowd. Let's take a deep breath together. In through the nose, feel your feet on the ground, arriving here in this moment, this holy moment. Sigh out the mouth, audible sighs, everybody. Let's do two more just like that, in through the nose and on like that. So we want to just take a moment to arrive, encourage the couple to listen to any sounds, take in things with their senses, look at the crowd, take in everybody for a moment, and boom, then we drop into the ceremony. From there, I like to thank people on behalf of the bride and groom and honor anybody that's deceased. Say they have a parent or a grandparent who's no longer with us, but is certainly smiling down at the ceremony that's happening right now and would be so happy to be here. You always want to include those people, or call in any ancestors, call in any people that couldn't travel here on that day, or anybody who's watching over Zoom, etc. You want to make sure everyone feels really welcome. And then you want to drop into a little bit about you, why you're officiating the ceremony and why it means to you. So that's a little bit of an introduction. Hi, I'm X, Y, and Z. I've played this role in he and she's life thus far to this moment, and I'm honored to be here because of the story, my love of this couple, their love for each other, moments that they've known they were right for each other, and things that I've observed in them. Then you want to speak a little bit to the importance of marriage and why these two are getting married, what it means to them. And this is a great place. The beginning chunk is a great place to weave in any scriptures or quotes or verses or blessings or prayers that really matter to the couple. You're going to do a lot of that in the front chunk. I will also include, if we're doing a ring warming, which is one of my favorite ceremonial add-ons to do, which is when you tell the crowd that the rings that the bride and groom are going to wear forever are going to be passed around to every single person for them to take a moment to hold them in their hands, warm them up, and infuse those rings with their love and blessings and good intentions for the couple. And those rings will just snake through the crowd, and then boom, they'll make their way up to the ring bearer or whomever is delivering those rings. And it typically works out to be just on time for that part. So I'd also like to introduce anything like that, anything that's going to take time, I want to set up so that we have the bulk of the ceremony to get that through. Then, after we talk about why the couple is getting married and the importance of marriage and what it means to them, either from a spiritual or religious perspective or just in general, I like to do vows. And so this is a really good halfway point for you energetically to know that when you're giving your vows at the start of that moment, you're already halfway through. And you can ask whoever wants to go first, who's going to go first. You might have that noted already. It might be a new thing. And then you're going to pass the vow book over, hold the microphone for them, and allow them to say their vows to each other. It's a really, really sweet moment to be that close to and witness. I love it more than anything in the whole world. The vows are the most special part of the whole thing. Really, 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 they are. Then from there, you're going to take the microphone back, and I like to do the traditional repeat after me vows. So, XYZ, do you take her to have and to hold, etc. Then we do the other partner then as well. And then at that time, we are going to do the ring exchange. And this is the I do part. And so we'll have had speech vows, we'll have repeat after me vows, and then we're going to have I do's. And the I do is a really great part for you to customize as the officiant, or for you as the couple to research what kind of I do's you want to have. And that's at the end of saying I do, you're going to slip the ring on the other partner's hand. I forgot to mention that if you have a ring bearer that is not the officiant, meaning your officiant can also hold your rings for you, you're going to want to give, the officiant is going to want to know the name of that ring bearer and call them up to present the rings. And then at that moment, the couple is going to grab the opposite person's ring. So you're not going to grab your own, you're going to grab the other person's. And then I typically have, depends on what genders are up there, but you can do that intuitively up there, but you're going to have them put the rings on with their I do's. And then at that time, you can have a closing remark. You can have a closing scripture or a quote or a story that encapsulates the importance and the essence of what you've just sealed on the altar today. And then from there, you're going to pronounce them husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs., Mrs. and Mrs., and fill in the blank with their last name or whatever phrase is most important to the couple. Now, you'd be surprised, but everybody knows what they want to be pronounced as at the end. Everybody knows. They've already thought about it. They've considered it. And so you just want to make note that you are delivering them to the crowd as exactly what they want to be delivered as. And then before their first kiss, you're going to say, and you may kiss your wife, you may kiss the bride, you may kiss your lover, whatever you want to say. They'll also have a preference about that. When they kiss, the officiant needs to get out of the way. And so you're going to say that, and then you're going to hop out of the picture, because that picture that they're about to take is so important and they don't want you in it. So hop out of the way. And then the recession will start. So we have the procession in the beginning, the recession at the end. And if there is a bridal party, they'll know the cadence with which to do that. And you can hang back and go. You'll either go first after the couple or you'll go after everybody else. It doesn't really matter. You're not really that important at that time. And the celebration and the wedding ceremony is complete at that time. Of course, the celebration continues. You know what I mean? But your work is done. I highly recommend knowing where you're going to take pictures together while they sign the marriage license. The marriage license is so fun and so easy to sign. It's not a big deal at all. And then you can either offer to mail that certificate back for them, or you can have them mail it back. But just make sure that whomever you leave it with has their eyes on it. It's really important. that gets signed, sealed, and delivered. And oftentimes, friends and family or groomsmen or bridesmaids just have so much to keep track of that little things like that will get lost. So, you, the officiant, if you want to hang on to that one little piece of paper and just take it off their to do list, such a pro, such a professional thing to do. And that completes my list of 8 tips and tricks to officiate a damn good wedding ceremony, even if it's your very first time or you've done it a few times and you want to get even better about it. Or if you're getting married and you want to make sure that your officiant does a really good job, send this podcast to them. I love talking about this with people. And if you have any further questions, hit my line on Instagram at Social Alchemy Institute or at tessa.polka. Those are the places you can find me. And I've got a wealth of resources on quotes and moments and scriptures and feelings and additional add-ons that are all really customizable. Know that you can have the wedding ceremony of your dreams and you deserve to. It shouldn't be an afterthought. It should be a first thought. I love you guys. Hope you have a beautiful day. Peace.